Ooh, okay. Looks like everything should be live here in a second. I don't need everything in stereo, so let me make sure that's all working the way it should be. Check in on all the things here. So it's been a while since I've actually been streaming here on YouTube, but it's actually been a pretty big deal. So thank you for those of you that are stopping by to watch. I'm going to be streaming on YouTube probably a couple times a week now, starting this month. So if you like my regular content, you can expect to see more here for sure. Mostly going to be streaming just some YouTube deck play. I mean, YouTube standard deck play is probably what you're going to see most of the time here. But I may do some other stuff. I may do some live streams just talking about whatever the news of the day is for Magic. Like recently, there was a stuff that came out with Infinity. We'd probably talk about that. Any new product stuff. Maybe I do some live box openings. You'll probably see a little bit of that action happening here. But a whole variety of things. Kind of all the stuff you see on my channel, just you might get to see it live. So that's a thing we might be doing for a little while. But anyway, welcome everybody. This is going to be a new-ish regular thing. So we'll see. But for now, I'm going to try to play some arenas. And haven't played Mono Green yet this season, so I'm going to fire that up. See how it goes. See if we can get some good footage here or not. See what we can do with it. So welcome all of you. Feel free to hop into the chat. Let me know you're here and watching and live. I appreciate it. Going against the Taco Wagon. This hand is actually not great, but because we have two Ascendant Pack Leaders, I'm going to go with it. Yeah. Sure, we'll keep this. This is probably not the best of keeps to keep, to be honest. Actually, I know it's not, but we're going to do it anyway. Because, you know, we like living dangerously or something. Alright. Let's get this pack leader out there. Don't know what this is going to result in. Because we really need this to be green. I wouldn't even mind if we picked up a Mammoth. Because if I had a Mammoth, I could at least play it tapped and then play a pack leader this turn. Or, never mind. I could just go straight up and play this. That works too. One of these is getting bounced. Probably going to be our werewolf pack leader. Yeah, no doubt. Boo to that. Fading Hope's just too good of a Magic card. Like, if you think about it, we had Unsummon already, and none of us played Unsummon, right? But the minute you put Scry on an Unsummon, it's infinitely better. Like, it's so many leagues better than what we've had. You know, I think I'm going to do this and this. Mostly because next turn, in theory, we could play Uvenwald Oddity. If it resolves, it probably gets countered or, you know, divide by 0 or something. But in the event it doesn't, we get to attack with a 4/4 plus a bunch of little bodies, which isn't the worst thing. We'll untap that. And I'll assume this gets stopped in some way, shape, or form. But we at least get to grow the 2/1s and the 3/2s. Oh, really? Nothing? That's not right. They're going to do something to this. Might even get syncopated. Nope, just divide by 0. Alright, well, that's unfortunate for us. Because now if they have something that costs 4, well, even then they would just flip the thing, so that's not quite enough there. Well, 2 and 2 could also be 4, so that could work as well. However, this is going to turn these into 4/3s, and that's actually not bad. That puts us in a pretty good position there. Hey, JB, what's going on? Let the Mono Green Stomping commits. We're going to try, Jackson. We're going to try. But this is not the best start. I don't know how this matchup plays out in best of 1, so we're going to find out. But we're not in an awful spot here. It's not a great spot, but it's not an awesome spot or awful spot either. Oh, looks like we just had somebody follow along. Thank you so much for that. Why did my notifications not come up? I need to check that after this game. If y'all will be patient with me, we'll check that out. All right, we'll go Uvenwald again. Glad to see me live streaming here. Keep getting back to back to back long ads. Yeah, that's tough. I wish I could do something more about the ads, but it is what it is. All right, let's see how bad this is for us. I'm assuming they want a memory deluge here. I mean, you could block 2, take 12. I mean, I'm all right with that. I mean, I would not be sad, let me tell you. Oh, it's going to divide by 0? All right, sure. Works for me. Oh, don't tell me. They had another one? Ah, damn it. That sucks so much. Not much you can do, though. If they just have it, they have it. Gosh dang it. That's brutal. Crafted the new green bomb cards, and they are not competing. They've actually been fine when I've seen them. This is just one of those cases where, you know, the wrong cards didn't line up right. I didn't get a fight spell for their smoldering egg, which would have been nice. So there's a few things that would have been real good to have here that we just didn't stick the landing on, so to speak. Now we need an untapped land so that we can play the pack leader followed by Uvenwald, but that's not even great because they will be able to shoot the pack leader at this point because it'll only be a 3-2. All right. What you gonna do, opponent? What you gonna do? All right. Well, we can at least direct their anger toward a 3-2 pack leader. Might be the only thing we can do. But we kind of have to. I mean, the other thing is we could play this, but then, you know, they have a fistful of stuff. They probably pick off all the 2 toughness duders, and that's no good. So we just go with this. All right. My first experience with Is It Drakes have permanently scarred you whenever I see a red-blue deck instant dread. I could see that. Like, they're not fun to play against. They're very boring. And I think, unfortunately, they are over-leveraging, over-affecting the format because you end up having to play a certain way or play certain cards or whatever just to deal with those, which kind of warps the format in a weird way, unfortunately. Alright, so they still have access to 3 mana here, which could bounce the Uvenwald Oddity, could... We have 5 mana. We could also make this live and attack and force the opponent to block, but then there's a good chance there's an Epiphany coming next turn. I have to figure out what they really want to do with this mana. So let's start here. Because this will at least, I won't say protect, but we could at least set it up where if they do target our pack leader, we at least get a counter for our troubles. Or our token. And then we'll see what this does. I'm going to bounce the Oddity again. If they bounce the Oddity, we're basically dead. Because you bounce the Oddity, you target the pack leader, and then we're dead on the next turn just to dragons. Because I'm assuming they'll have some either damage or... Yeah, alright. We're still dead, just the same. Alright. Ugh, that sucks. New mana formers are on sign. No. It's definitely just the Auron's Epiphany. You're not really worried about them playing extra dragons. I will say, though, that match was honestly about me not drawing either a thing to protect my creatures, because I do have a couple of Snakeskin Veils or a Blizzard Brawl. If we'd have got either one of those, I think we would have been okay. Unfortunately, we didn't, so we died. And that's how it goes. Would have been nice, though. Would have been real nice. Alrighty, we will keep this going first. Oh, wait, forgot to check my overlay stuff. Well, I'll do that in a second. Let's get this one out there. And I feel like we're supposed to just play Sculptor of Winter next turn, which feels very weakish, but still think... Actually, you know what? We're not. While we have a chance, let's just do it. If they're playing bounce spells or whatever, they just get us. We're just going to go for it. I know we're light on mana, but whatever. Sometimes you just got to force the opponent to have it. And if they do, congratulations. Yeah, I think we just attack here. And then play this. Play this. I mean, that's the most I can do to put pressure on the opponent here. Hopefully they don't, like, I don't know, Cinderclasm us or something. Okay, they just gave up. That works for me. That's not a bad hand. That's what we're looking for when that happens. All right, if you'll give me one quick second, I need to check my overlay for YouTube. It's been so long since I streamed on YouTube. Something's not connected, so I want to make sure I at least get that done up so we can make sure that's right. Because when people come, subscribe, join, whatever, I at least want them to get credit and be seen on screen, because that's the fun part. That's what I added all the cool sound effects and things for. So if people aren't able to do that, that kind of sucks. Let me see. Edit this. No, it looks like... Let's see. My alerts are active. Let me test. Let's see. If somebody subscribes. Yeah, all right. Okay, it does come up. Okay, it was there. Just for whatever reason, didn't see it earlier. Okay. Looks like we're working, so we can get back to playing Magic. Oh, man. Anyway, welcome also to new faces. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Good to have you. I post content every single day. I'm going to start streaming multiple times a week here on YouTube as well, so you just get supplemental content, which is fun. What's a card in MTG's history that if you saw it legalized again would annihilate standard? Like literally a billion cards. Like, we don't even have time. I would say there's 100+ cards that would mess up standard if they existed. Like, seriously, there's so many. So many. Stasis was a pain, for sure. Teferi was also annoying. Yeah, there's a bunch. I mean, anything that's ever been on a ban list. Man, the 3-cost Liliana would be bad. Mind Twist would be bad. Like, there's a ton of cards that would be really, really bad for standard. But it's by design, though, right? Because a lot of cards are built with the cards around them in mind for that standard window, right? So some things are power level scaled based on the things around them. And then there's some things that seem really weak in certain environments, but are much better once you open things up or whatever. So there's a lot of things that could be really bad for standard very easily without a lot of effort. As silly as that sounds. But it very well could be. Also, well, I got a chance. If you're going to need any supplies, or you're buying cool gifts, or you want to get wall scrolls or playmats or anything, check out shop.ultrapro.com. I'm going to put it in the chat for you. Boom, check them out. And order sooner rather than later. Because shipping issues, holidays, all that fun stuff, you know how it goes. All right, we're going to keep this, but this is a bit slow. But we'll see what we're up against. Oh boy, we're gonna be doing this. There. Okay. Do. Let's see what's up though. They don't have extra black mana here. That is a really interesting thing to note. So they're going to have to go search for more black mana. Question then becomes, is it worth it? I'm just trying to decide if I want to play Troll or if I want to play Mammoth here. I feel like Troll is the answer. But don't know if that's 100% accurate. Or correct. I mean, it's... Okay, they're just going to deadly dispute. That hurts a lot less, I guess. Though it does give them treasure that they could shoot something here if they wanted to. But it looks like they don't want to. Alright, so that was a good decision, because if they did have a Meat Hook Massacre, they'll be able to just get rid of 2 3/3s here, assuming they have a land in hand. So that was what I was concerned about. Just not particularly that way, but it worked out anyway. Okay, they don't have it. That's good news. Yeah, Hypnotic Spectre is would have been a pretty powerful card. And so, oh, they have white mana. Okay, so at least we know what the opponent's playing now. So that part of the equation is solved. Now what do we do? The question is, how much do we want to put at risk? So I think here we just try to attack, which they do successfully let us attack. We get a card. I could just pump the werewolf here and get 9 damage in, but I don't think I'm going to. I feel like... I'm going to do this. And just play it safe. In the event they do have the meat hook here and they want to get rid of Troll, we could at least destroy a land, put Troll back into play, and then just play like Chariot next turn. Okay, well, it wasn't Meat Hook Massacre, but same difference. Alright, and then we'll just give this up. Make the 4/4. Oh, well, that's not a bad one to draw now, is it? Like, get 2 Tramplers. That seems good. Alright, opponent's at 8. I mean, they could just have another Blood on the Snow, which is very likely. Yep. That's what I said. Was not surprised that there was another Blood on the Snow, even a little bit. Alright. This is what we saved it for. Do we want to... We could play this and this next turn and use those to pump that and attack. So, nah, we're gonna forgo playing that as a land. Just for like extra turns break. Yeah, I honestly don't think we need but like 1 extra turns card like every 10 years or something. Like, we just don't need them. But that's my personal... I've never, even before Epiphany, I've never enjoyed or wanted extra turns cards. I don't think they really add enough to the game to justify their existence, but to each their own, you know? Everybody has different things they like. Alrighty. What do we do with this? Oh, actually, I did that wrong. I could have played Mammoth first. That's a mistake. Well, okay, let's do this. I mean, I guess I could just play Mammoth and shoot a thing. That's almost the same. Okay, sure. Alright. That's dead. We'll go ahead and let them search for first, and then we'll see what happens there. Do. Come on now. Alright. Let's tap this. I mean, the Chariot's probably dead. Yep. And then we're going to attack. Alright, play another creature out. And then we're probably just going to have to hope for a haste creature or something. I don't know what else we're going to do here. Oh no, if we can get our unnatural growth, that would be huge, actually. Let's find that. Loss annoying, but unnatural growth's still pretty good. Let's find that. Shambling Gas is going to be a pain in our butt. That is none of those things. That does not help us even a little bit. Alright, well, we'll just wait for the opponent to sweep the board and then we'll be dead. I mean, I think that's pretty much all we can do here. I mean, literally, just play your mascot exhibition. Like, what are we doing? Just play your spells, opponent, and then we die. Like, it's kind of an easy equation. All right, they're going to go to 5. I mean, I guess they could just be looking for a sweeper for insurance or something. I have no idea. All right, there's the mascot exhibition. There is an Uvenwald oddity. Unfortunately, I only have access to 6 mana right now. So we have to hope they magically somehow have 0 kill spells and all that stuff, which there's no way that's true. Yep. And they're getting to look at a bonus card here.
It's bold to bargain with me.
I mean, unless we just get lucky and they have no answer. Okay, maybe. Maybe. I mean... Alright, everybody gets a +1, I'm assuming. Alright, smart move. Getting brave, getting in there. Alright, come on, untap land. Untap land. If not that, we need unnatural growth. One or the other. But we need something here. Alright. So I guess we just assume they have a kill card, and that's what they're saving that open mana for, right? Because we can... Actually, this would be a 8/8. 9, 10... Let's assume this actually works. So we have 8, 12, 13, 14. That'll be 6, so that's 20. And then 6 more is 26. They would have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, I mean, I guess we got to do it. If they have a kill spell, we die anyway. So, you know, whatever. Like, what were we going to do otherwise? I mean, this is all we can do. So, meh. If you got the answers, you got the answers. If you don't, we win. This is more than 4 trample damage. Because this gives everybody +1/+1, haste, and trample. This is an amazing comeback if they actually don't have the kill spells here. This is humongous for us. All right, they're blocking enough damage. They're blocking the correct way. Oh, actually, wait. Hold on. That's already 2. And 3, that's already 5. That's 4 more. Nope. Okay, so that gets blocked. So 5 gets through? No, 6, 7, 8 gets through. That's it, right? Yeah. All right. Did it. Whoo. Wow. Wow. I thought we were dead. I genuinely thought we were dead. There was 2 blood on the snows, and they got full board. They got extra cards off Loth, and somehow we didn't die. I had no idea. That was amazing. Generally speaking, anytime you want to see any of my decks, I say tell people just check the YouTube video the next day. I always have the videos linked whenever I make the footage or whatever. Mostly because after I play the games, a lot of times I will update the decks, and you'll get the best version the next morning when it goes live. Against Ray, spelled 2 different ways. That's kind of a cool name there. Also, welcome everybody that's new and hanging out. All 21 of y'all. I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll keep this. Why not? Gonna go ahead and do this. I mean, we need more mana for sure. No doubt about that. You know, there's an argument to be made, though, that we could have done Shambler first. Well, I guess it wouldn't have mattered much anyway. We would have lost either. I guess it would have mattered, though, because it would have been Shambler we lost instead of that, and we still would have had a 1/1. But this looks like another Epiphany deck, because those are the only ones. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Usually it's the Epiphany decks that are playing those. I'm just going to level up here, since we didn't draw the land we needed. And we'll set up that way. Also puts our creature out of range of a simple, like, I don't know, Cinderclasm or something. Alright. I'm not sure what the opponent's trying to set up for here, so let's go with this. Alright. I'm going to divide by 0 that. Okay, sure. Makes sense. Alright, expressive iteration. So this is just a Jeskai control. I feel like we ran into one of those yesterday and did pretty well. But obviously this draw is going to be pretty rough to get through. So we have to see what we can do with this. Good news is we did manage to get counters on our stuff. So if the opponent were to actually target a thing, we'd be able to generate a little value, which isn't bad. Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and attack. Why not? Yep, you get to block. Makes sense. I'm assuming that is a Doomscar or something resembling a Doomscar in their hand. Or in Foretell, I mean. But we have to force them to have it. If they got it, they got it. Here you go. Environmental Sciences. Still doesn't mean that's not what that is. I'd still put money on the fact that is what that is. Unless it's an Epiphany, but I'm pretty sure. Okay, well, it might be both now. Okay. Well, not a lot to be done here. So now it's kind of an ugly spot because it's how much do we want to dedicate to the board at hand, knowing or at least assuming things are going to get swept here. So what I'm thinking is we could attack. I almost want to play a Chariot and then just play the other Chariot next turn. I don't know if that's a good enough play here. I mean, we're just going to attack here to start with. I'm just deciding if I think I'm going to play the Chariot, then I'm going to pump this. If not, I mean, I'm not going to pump this if I think I'm going to play the Chariot. If I play the Chariot, I leave it alone. And I think I'm just going to attack here. And you know what? I'm going to level this up anyway, and after the fact. I missed a point of damage there, but I changed my mind at the last second. I decided I'm just going to force the opponent to deal with what's on board for now. And if their plan is just like cast Epiphanies or whatever, then so be it. Okay, well, okay, they're just loading up more stuff. That's fine, I guess. Alright. Revelry makes sense. Okay. We could risk one of the oddities now. That would not be the worst thing. What if we do this? And we'll level one of these. And I mean, do I want to put this at risk? I mean, I'm not even sure what they're going to do other than bounce it, maybe. But I'm willing to just attack with these, because if they don't have Fading Hopes, then this one's already targeting one. Alright. Like, if they don't have Fading Hopes, then Divide by Zeros have to just bounce a Chariot. Alright, so they did have the Fading Hopes. So it didn't really matter here. They were going to bounce the thing regardless. Now, the only benefit here is because we do have hasty creatures here, we will be able to attack, possibly if it sneaks through, with like 6/6s, which is kind of good. Alright, they're going to get extra cards in hand. This... Okay, I'm assuming there's at least one Fading Hope over there. Man, I really needed another land here. Would have been nice. Would have been real nice. Alright. We'll try this. It's not going to get countered. It's just what gets bounced here. And we're just going to attack. Yeah, it's a little bit of aggressive, though. They probably should have waited to see if I put the counters on it. I probably wasn't, but, you know, they don't know that. Interesting. So, they decided to hold the 1/1. I guess they just could be going for a hull breaker here. Is their best plan. Nope, Epiphany first. Yeah, if that was the plan, I'm not sure why you wouldn't just block with the other token. Might as well just take the damage, but is what it is, I guess. Man, I have mana envy right now. Oh, that's rather nice. Huh. What can we do with this? Unfortunately, I don't have another mana, because that would be nice. That would be real nice. Dang it. Man, this is like turn 1 million, and I'm still at 4 lands here. That's tough. Real tough. They don't have any creature lands, so that's good. Alright, I mean, I guess we do this. Feels kind of gross. But what else are we going to do? Put a counter there. Put a counter here. Why not? Alright. What's the plan, opponent? Alright. That's what we assumed. Like, there was nothing we were going to do otherwise there. No, you can activate a vehicle at instant speed. You can totally do it at instant speed. But I was already in the attack step at that point anyway. So, like, even if I would accrued it, it would no longer be able to be in the part of the attack. Yeah, we keep it. Alright. See what you got, opponent. Oh, this looks like some sort of mirror match, and they're going to have the mana advantage, and they're going first. Super Sag. Well, if you want to trade, I'll take the trade. Okay. Guess that means they're just going to go ahead and play a 4/4 here, but, like, yeah, nothing we can do about it. Do we just level and play this duder? Yeah, that's probably the most efficient thing to do here. Mostly because there's a chance we get... it doesn't... we'll see. May not do anything in the end. Do I have a Discord? Yes, I do. It's in the links in my descriptions. I also stream over on Facebook and stuff too, if you ever want to catch some daytime streams, and I post some videos over there too. Okay, well, we'll do this to start with. And we'll pass, because until I can make a 4/4 to attack with, or bigger, it doesn't do us any good. Yep. Would you like to attack with all your things? I'm just going to attack with one of your things. Okay, I'm just going to let him through. Like, if we die, we die. Actually, do I want to put the Swarm Shambler at risk, actually? I have a feeling they've got +2/+2 here. And that's not going to help us any. So, yeah, no blocks. I don't think you'll ever run into mono black Magic's decks. That's about all I'm going to say on that. One of those things where Mama said if you can't say anything nice, you know. Okay, what can we do here? I could play this, but that doesn't really do anything other than let us attack with a 5/5 or have a blocker. We could just fill the board with some additional blockers. We could play this, make a 2/2, level it up, attack with a 6/6 or a 5/5, and make another blocker. Maybe that's our best plan here. If we can some way get enough damage through. I don't know what this is going to look like. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not one to badmouth other people, so I'm going to say it's not the decks that are the issue. And that's as far as that's going to go with the rest of this chat. I think all we can do is attack with Chariot here, actually. And I'll copy a wolf. Alright, opponent's at 14. We have... I mean, if they have their own unnatural growth, we can chump block to survive. Okay, they don't have an unnatural growth here, so that's good. Alright. That's 8. If they have 2 pluses twice, we die, right? They can give that trample, which could be bad. Okay. So now these don't kill us if we choose to block. These could, because this is 5, 10, 11, 12. They'd have to spend 4 to give this one trample, which does turn it into a... So we'd still take a full 10, is basically what would happen. So I think the plan here is... chump block. Just trying to think, if we keep that's 2, 4, 4, 8, 12, 16. They do still have Faceless Haven, though. Oh, gosh. What are the odds? I do get 2 +1s there. If they pump, that goes to a 7. So that's just 12. We go to 1. And then we have to top deck a land then, right? Is what we're saying. Sure. Okay, cool. Can we do it then? We got what we wanted. We're not dead. Oh, I forgot about the 2/2s. I was so busy working about the other stuff. Forgot to block the other tokens. That was just silly. I wasn't even paying attention. I got so wrapped up with the rope going down, I was paying attention to doing the math on the wolf, the main wolf, and then just died to the tokens. I deserved that loss. That was stupid. So yeah, I deserved every bit of that one. I can't even complain. That was just my own damn fault. I think I could have played that whole game differently, though, if I'm being honest. I turns out the opponent didn't have the cards I was concerned about in their hand. So, like, I played around stuff that ended up not even existing. So that's its own problem. We'll keep. Oh, I've told you before. Like, if I make mistakes, I just make mistakes. Like, y'all gotta. I always tell people, like, you know, if you're worrying about playing perfect and whatever, like, that's all crap. Like, it really is. Like, and I'll tell you what I really find silly, and I see it. I mean, I get it on my content, but I see it on other people's as well, where people like it happened twice on not yet. I think yesterday's video, where people are like, oh well, at this timestamp you could have done this instead, and I'm like, yeah, but I had a line of play and still won the game the next turn. So like, what does it matter, right? Just because I'm not doing it the way you want me to do it doesn't mean it's completely incorrect. There are many ways to get stuff done. This sucks, because I really need a land here. Alright. Well, I already played that. Do I want to... I'm going to do this. See if maybe we can get lucky and get cards into our hand. No, it's fine. I mean, that's what chat's for. Like, you see stuff live and you want to talk about it, like, that's totally okay. I have no problem with that. I'm assuming one of these wolves have to die, right? Nope, you're just going to give me 2 cards? That's a shocker. Definitely didn't see that coming. So opponent just took a whole 7 there. Why is that? Oh, they must be preparing for a memory deluge. That's what's about to happen. So we'll just put this in tapped, I guess. And... alright, let's say they memory deluge. What do you do for 5? I guess you sweep the board here? Because it could be a burn down the house. Alright, I guess I'll just do this. If it's a burn down the house, it's a burn down the house. I mean, not a lot we're going to do about it. If they just have it, they have it. Okay, unexpected windfall. Alright, well, you can epiphany here. And then what? Smoldering egg into something. I don't know what something's going to be yet. That's an 8. You could block that. Take 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so we're going to try to be a little crafty here. Let's see what happens when we try to stick a pack leader. And then we try to fight with this pack leader because it has summoning sickness. I assume something's going to get countered or bounced here. I mean, I assume this is the play, right? Okay, that makes sense. I can't do anything to save it, so it'll just take its 4. Doesn't have counters on it yet, so we don't get a magical 1/1, unfortunately. Now we try this. Alright. That's it. Just had to be patient that time. Sometimes it's all you gotta be. Just gotta be patient. And I think that's one of the problems when people say that mono green isn't working for them. I think it's because you have people who are over aggressive. I think sometimes when people see that they're playing an aggro deck, their first thought is, okay, I gotta kill this, I gotta attack, I gotta do this, I gotta go wide, right? But it's like, you can't ignore the fact of like what you're playing against, right? You have to know the other cards that are available in the format, and you have to make choices accordingly. Like there, as an example, like I could have went with another wolf or another 3/3, but it's like the idea that, okay, they're going to get to memory deluge, which they didn't have, but they could have, right? If they would have had memory deluge and then they get burned down the house, I would have lost all the best creatures in my hand. Whereas that way, I could go ahead and play the Ranger class, have a 2/2, which isn't great. I'd rather have the 3/3 that draws a card. But if our board gets swept, I at least still have a permanent on the field that's doing something, right? You don't have to just go crazy. Oh my gosh. Of course the bot showed up. I guess that means I made it. That's the good news. It's alright. If I'm going to be streaming regularly, I'm going to have to appoint some of y'all as moderators. So, it's all good. That's just how it goes. At some point, I'll have to give y'all the, the swords of power, as it were. No big deal. All I gotta do is click a couple buttons, and boom, they take care of it, just like that. First time in a power stream, this finna be a breeze. Hey, Slayer Rosario, how's it going? So now you're gonna be able to find me streaming in a lot of places. I'm gonna be streaming my 2 or 3 nights a week, like I normally do. Well, 2 nights a week, and maybe an afternoon on Twitch during the week. And then you'll be able to find me on Facebook, kind of just sporadically, usually in the evenings, maybe playing some Magic or some Teamfight Tactics. And then throughout the week, it'll be some random streams, at least twice a week here on YouTube. So you'll be able to find me multiple different ways. Elect AOA for mod. Maybe. Agony seems like they've been a long time viewer of my content, so it's very possible. I'll be honest though, I have 4 or 5 moderators in my Discord, and I have 4 or 5 on Twitch, so I'll probably appoint them first here on YouTube, and then whoever's tends to be available when I get into a rhythm and I'm streaming most often, I'll probably be more likely to give those people mod privileges, so I don't have to have 20 mods or whatever. I'd like to have 5 or 6, but as the content grows or we get more people on the streams, then it's like, okay, every 15 or 20 people you get, it's like, okay, well, let's add another mod and, whatever, just to kind of keep it moving. Can I play some werewolves? Kind of love mine, who took inspiration from yours and went mythic without trying too hard. Not really, because part of the thing is, throughout a season, I don't really play the same deck very often. I'll sometimes do it at the very end of the season, or at least the back third of the season, because then it's like, okay, now we see what the metagame became. We learned enough about some other cards from building decks. Is there something I want to include or upgrade or whatever? And then I'll do that. But generally just to play it, not too often on streams, unless I'm playing a newer deck and then I already have enough footage. Like, let's say I were going to stream for another, I don't know, I'm just making up a number. Let's say if I had planned to stream for another 2 hours, right? If in another 30, 45 minutes, I think I have enough mono green footage to maybe edit into a video or something, then I'd be like, all right, cool. I have enough of that. Let's go back and play another one just for the people live on stream or something that I still have, right? I'd probably do something like that. But generally, that's why when people come up and say, hey, do you have an update for this deck? Or do you have this thing? Like, honestly, no. And the reason is you kind of get one of two things, right? I can either keep perfecting certain decks, or I can do what I'm doing and put a different deck up every day, right? You can't really get both because of just physical time, unfortunately. Like, I can't both perfect and play or whatever a deck for hundreds of games and still be working on deck building, recording, streaming, whatever new footage every day. So like something kind of has to give a little bit. Rosemary Hat usually work about now. To be fair, the Relinquished, I don't know if this is going to be my normal time to stream on YouTube. It was just coincidental because of the way some things went today. And I got done recording my podcast, and after I ate, I was like, you know what? Let me hop on and give my people on YouTube some love and do a little bit of streaming. So this could just be a coincidental time. Is it true that Teferi sticker is based on PowrDragn? Nope, not true, unfortunately. All you play is Black Mana Planeswalkers with splashes of other colors. But you know what, though? If that's what you find fun, play it. Who cares? Like, people can judge you for it, but if those are the colors you like, or that's a style of Magic you like, play it. I mean, that's the whole reason I try to put up a variety of decks. I do some control, I do some mid-range, I do some weird mechanic-based stuff, whatever, just so players out there can, 1, see stuff that's available, but 2, maybe you go like, oh, I like that style of deck. That's what I was looking for. So I don't expect each person to like, if I put up 6 or 7 decks this week, you might really only be interested in like 3. But I hope the game's entertaining and my commentary at least helps you learn something or follow through some plays or whatever, and they're still worth watching in between the particular deck that you might actually want to build. Um, let's see. It's probably on viewer submitted decks. It's better to rely on viewer submitted decks. I'm not sure I really understand that comment. So we suffered optimizing. Well, here's the thing. If you are a supporter of the channel, we do have the memberships now, so you can click the join button below the video. If you do that and you become a highest tier, which is $4.99, then you do have access to a page where you can submit deck list, and then I go look. And every once in a while, and we did one a couple of days ago, the enchantment-based deck was because somebody submitted a thing, and then I fixed up the deck and then we played it. So maybe if you want something to appear there, just saying, that's one way you can do it. Otherwise, I'm probably going to try to work some things in as far as maybe some ways during live streams or something periodically where I take some suggestions. But it won't be all that regular necessarily. It's just like something as long as it fits into the content stream, you know. But I also do, if you're on our lowest tier thing here on the channel, you get access to vote. So the last couple of times, the last 3 videos were because of the order that the members voted on. So they got to see what they wanted to see, right? So they voted, and that's what you get. And then I put my first video up a couple days ago for the middle tier and down, and up. I mean, I actually had a video just for certain people. And I'm going to put some there that might be just like stuff that won't do well on the channel at large. So it might be some random strategy stuff. It might be a cool perspective thing. I might share like a weird story and fun story that I have about somebody in the industry. Maybe a fun story about a pro player I've run into. Whatever. It'll be just some content that'll go just to the members that would be very boring and bad on our channel and people wouldn't click on it. But it would be fun for them, you know, just to hear a fun story or learn something about me or whatever. So kind of something cool and private for that. So, but I wanted to make it at least something unique and different that you're not going to get somewhere else is all. So I can give something back since you're giving me something, you know. Your usage of mechanics has taught me so much. Well, thank you so much, Agony. Your girlfriend doesn't play, but when I listen to MTG videos, she says you're a favorite because of how you explain your turn and thought process. Relinquish, you know what's funny? I've heard that from multiple people. And some people genuinely like my voice, which is very strange because until, I don't know, when I started doing commentary and stuff, I didn't really think about, like I knew I like to talk. So, I mean, I knew people hear my voice. I didn't know people enjoyed hearing my voice. But it's interesting. You know, I assumed at some point y'all would get tired of hearing me when I'm doing like 4 or 5 streams a week. I'm doing 7 videos a week. I got a podcast every week, sometimes doing commentary on the weekends. You know, like I assumed I was going to oversaturate people, but turns out people like listening to my voice. It's not what I thought at all. It's really cool to have a girlfriend that plays MTG. I had an ex do it once, but they would get mad. Like, well, that's a tough situation. So yeah, it just turns out like I'm very lucky in the sense that even from when I was younger, I've always been a speaker. I've never, like, you know, when they tell you like, go read this in front of the class, I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. So it was always weird to me as I got older and realized people had a fear of public speaking. You know, that's never been a thing to me. And I'm like, you know, in my head, when I was younger, I was like, what is the fear? You know what you're reading, just read it. But turns out, as I got older, I'm like, oh, I get it. This is a real thing for people. So I'm very lucky in the sense that the thing I do now is something I already enjoy doing, and I don't have the concern of like, oh, what's somebody going to say about how I look or how I sound or whatever. I'm like so far beyond that I just don't care. I feel like I can bring enough content to you and enough variety and enough perspective that's unique that even if you didn't totally enjoy my voice or you really thought I was kind of goofy looking, which I am, like, you'd put up with me because the content's good enough. No one likes his voice. Hey, if you don't like my voice, I get it. I don't know why you're hanging out if you don't like it, but hey, not everyone's for everyone, you know? It would be cool, but you can't comprehend the game after more than 5 cards on the board. You know, tell her not to feel bad about that. One of the biggest things I've encountered is a lot of people walk away from the game because a lot of their friends want to introduce them to Magic through Commander. And I'm on the Commander advisory group, and I tell people Commander is not the best way to teach people how to play. It actually overwhelms people badly. And I think that's a big mistake for people to introduce new people to the game like that. Because I always try to tell people, think about when you're learning Magic, how much you had to understand, right? Just learning, okay, this costs this much, and I can play this to protect this creature, or whatever, right? And then it's like, okay, now I have to remember what my opponent's stuff does, because I might want to block and do something. But then my opponent got another card, and like, you're trying to process all this in real time. And then if you're brand new, imagine doing that when there's 4 board states where they all affect each other anytime one thing happens, right? That's a lot. That's a lot for people. But I see people do it all the time. Like, they like to teach their friends using Commander. So, I don't recommend it. I think it's a mistake, personally. I've just seen it go bad more often than it goes good. Even if it's just learn the basics through starter decks, playing some basic deck games with somebody, whatever. Then, you know, after they figured it all out, a month in or something, okay, cool. Now let's try a full 60-card constructed deck with real cards that do stuff. All right. Now let's try to play a commander deck with 100 cards and all these crazy abilities or whatever. And I think that's a much better experience for people. All right. We kind of got shields down to do whatever we want here. So this is awesome. Okay, I guess we just attack with all of it, because why not? Oh, that is awesome for next turn. Okay. I'm not sure what the opponent's play here, because even if they play a dragon or something, we don't really care when they're at 8. And they'll have to tap the Despera Sentinel to do something. Yeah, we've kind of got it all right here. Even if they kill something, because we have a hasty oddity here. Ooh, a burn down the house, though. That is a good call. That is a good call. We'll put it on here. We got another troll for our troubles. What do we want to do here? We can just play this. Or... yeah, I guess that's just what we do, right? Well, the problem is if we do that, we can't make this. Like, I don't have a way I can play this and still set this up for the following turn, which is really funny. I'm really surprised Burn Down the House was in that list, to be 100% honest with you. I guess I could just attack for 4. No, that still doesn't do anything. There's really no good play here, right? Because if I tap these, then... oh, it is a colorless mana, though. I could do that to sacrifice. Never mind. So, yeah, let's do that. For some reason, I was thinking I had to tap green to get that, but I don't. So, yeah, let's do this. That sounds great. All right. We won't play that. There's no need. No need to put extra stuff at risk here. Because now we can make a 4/4, we can threaten to attack with 2 creatures, or we could attack with the Oddity. So, like, that's fine. Because Oddity tramples. He has Tramplay. Alright, opponent gets Treasure. What are we going to do with that Treasure? Gonna make another creature. Okay, so this will keep them alive. This is a good thing for them. Alright. So, pass. They go to the end step. We'll go ahead and make a 4/4, which we can copy with the Chariot, by the way. That is also nifty. So I activate this, or I just attack with this. That's 8 minus 2, 3, 4, 5. So they would be at 3. If they just block with 2, they'd be at 1. I think... I'm going to get in there with the... yeah, because if I copy that... yeah, let's do it. And if you just want to block all the things with the Chariot, then whatever. Alright. That's a weird block. You might as well just block with one of them. But... I guess they're planning on sweeping the board again or something. But even if they do, they're just going to die. Because I know we've got Faceless Havens already. Oh, there's some... that doesn't change much, though. Yeah. Same thing. Let me see. I'm kind of get caught up on chat here. Once had a friend that told you MTG was the hardest game that ever played, so they stopped. Depending on what other games they play, that could be true. It was standard and one-on-one. She was just overwhelmed too easy. I could see that. I could see that. There's a lot of people, that only play, like Monopoly-style board games. And the first time they get introduced to a board game that has, like, multiple decisions or a lot of choices, it becomes... It's really a combination of two things, right? It's analysis paralysis because every decision becomes so, like, difficult and whatever, and you have too many choices that they're not used to. The other is just fear of embarrassment, right? They don't want to look bad in front of somebody. So the decisions are even more amplified in their head because they're trying to make the right one and impress the person they're playing with. So it can definitely be difficult. Ooh, what do we do with this? I think we keep this, though, right? Because we can play a turn 1 Mammoth, play a turn 2 Ranger class. That's 2 turns to draw an untapped land, maybe, and start getting the trolls into play. So, like, seems fine. Let's see what's up. Let's see how this goes. Oh, that's tempting, but we can't do it. We kept a hand that doesn't allow that to be a thing, unfortunately. As much as we would want it to be a thing here. Yeah. Not the best situation, but we'll go with it. Oh, well, we're going to be up against it here pretty rough, I think. But we're going to keep trucking along, see what happens. Please don't make us exile our troll. Oh, memory deluge. That's not nearly as bad for us. We can accept that. Okay. What do we want here? We can activate and then just play this. That's not that exciting if everything's going to die. But if we only do this and attack, then we do leave mana open that if they kill the troll, we could just make a troll during their end step, which we kind of like that. So... If I do this, there's a good chance if they have a sweeper, we're just going to see that next turn anyway. So yeah, let's just go with this. And I'll just put that there. Alright. I think this is the correct play to just wait here. And just kind of force them to do something. I don't know what their something is going to be. Alright, there's a Meat Hook Masker, which is one of the sweepers we assumed. Attach the Old Growth Troll there. Alright, we'll go ahead and make a troll. Blizzard Brawl is not going to do too much in this fight, I would not imagine. So let's go ahead and run this out there, I guess. Maybe I should have just... Well, I guess maybe I should have just played another troll. That's probably a mistake. I think I should have just played another troll here. But we'll see. Maybe we'll get lucky. Alright, another Meat Hook, sure. Alright, we got another land. What does that do for us? I think... Let's go ahead and do this. Let's play this. Activate this. And we'll attack. Just doing what we can to keep the pressure up. Yes, Lessus is a good card. Hey, Mr. Longhair, how's it going? Good, good, good. I'm glad things are working for you. However, we're in a lot of trouble now, because now they can have Lear, they can have... Oh, a third meat hook? Gee, bus. Okay, then. I mean... like, what do you do, right? If they just have it, they have it. It's like, geez. Oh, I should have waited, because I could have just used this to crew the chariot. That's a mistake. What do you have left in hand? Like, that's really what I'm trying to figure. I'm like, what is left? Yeah, that's a bad mistake there, I think. Do we just... I don't know what I want to do here. I'm having problems. Alright. Only because this is worth more damage here. Yeah, I was afraid they might have something like that. If I actually... Man, I played this all wrong. I should have done this first if I thought they had a spot removal card, honestly. Because I would have got another 1-1 out of it, which would have made a difference here. I never said no Twitch streaming. I was just on Twitch yesterday. Don't put words in my mouth now. Like, I never said that. Alright, I mean... that doesn't really do anything. I'll just play this. I gotta get through with more, because they have their big land there, which is a problem. Yeah, shouldn't even have done that. I just let this get away from me. I made too many mistakes, y'all. Yeah, this is one I can't even... I'm just gonna move on. Like, unfortunately, I can't even give opponent the credit for that one. I left too much damage on the table. Over the course of 2 turns, I made 3 mistakes. So, like, I should have... the game shouldn't even have been that close. It's totally my fault, too. Can't blame anybody but myself. Oh, it was definitely over. That was definitely over. Like, you may not know it was over, but it was over. It was absolutely over. Like, opponent had, like, 9 mana. They were going to be able to do 80 things. Like, yeah. Alright. How many things die? Starting there. Well, good thing. Deck is at least trying. We're finding lands. Good, good, good. Alright. Please don't meet hook for 1. I would like to find a land and play a chariot first. Oh, that's going to be a pain in our butt, isn't it? That is not a land. And that does not help our cause any. We could attack here. Actually, we kind of have to, or this is going to flip anyway. So I almost want to just trade for the pack leader. I doubt they're going to do it. But I'm hoping this... I was going to say, I'm hoping this draws a land. Because if it doesn't, we're in a world of hurt. Alright, that helps immensely. Alright. Now, if we can survive a meat hook massacre here... Alright, opponent did not have a meat hook massacre. They did flip their duder, though. There's a chance they have a counter, so I'd rather roll this out first instead of this, because this is very good all on its own. So let's see what the opponent has here. Alright, do you just kill our chariots? All right. Well, you can kill our chariot and block something, and I guess we're willing to accept that. That's just terms of war here. All right, not a bad replacement. Oh, just a deluge. Ooh. Okay then. Alrighty. Yeah. Well, that's kind of awesome. Meat Hook is still good for them here unless I draw a 4 mana or a 4 power creature. Well, no, even then, because they'll gain a bunch of life from the Meat Hook. So they're still fine if they have a Meat Hook Massacre. Alright, that does the job too. Something to kill this? Nope. Alright, we got there. Actually, JB, on that last game, it really was for sure. But I'll tell you why. Because he's going to see 7 extra cards to be able to get 2. He has a creature land that I can't punch through, and I'm basically out of threats. Like, they're still at more than 10 life. And he also was going to get a bonus card from the Celestis whenever he wanted it. Right? So it's like, no way we were going to win that previous game. Like, even if we could, the percentages are so low, and the game would have taken so long that I wouldn't even be able to use it for a YouTube video anyway. Right? That's kind of the issue. Because once a game goes beyond like 20 minutes, I only can maybe get one of those in on a video. Right? So if it looks like it's going to go really long, I pretty much am like, whatever. It's not worth playing for like the 2% chance. It's just better to move to the next thing, because just from a time creation efficiency standpoint, it's better for me just to move on and go to the next game. Now, if I was playing for myself and I wasn't streaming or I wasn't trying to make a video, then like maybe I'd play it out and just see and like force him to get to the kill card. But the odds were so phenomenal that they were going to see 7, 8, 9, like 10 more cards before I actually even can get close to stabilizing again. Not counting the 2 that was already in their hand. Right? So like we were in a world of trouble there. What else we got here in the chat? Have stayed in also early, enter key, my bad. Oh, gotcha. You would have stayed in. Gotcha. Another well designed. Yeah, Ward's actually pretty good. I don't mind Ward at all. This is the first time I'll be able to watch you on your streams. Hey, Cursed. Well, because I haven't been streaming on... This is the first time I streamed on YouTube. The second time, I believe, in 2021. So I haven't done much streaming on YouTube. I've been streaming on Facebook and on Twitch. But I will be streaming more on YouTube here soon. So you never know. Alright, we get to go first. Yeah, it's a lot of mana in this hand, but I think it's fine. Alright. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming around. It says, hey Power, you think it's possible as a part-time player to build and play a deck to diamond? Absolutely. We have people do it all the time. You can totally get high enough without spending a bunch of money. Yep, I will accept that trade. Sun Gold Sentinel. That's a trade I don't want, sadly. Alright, let's give you some targets. I will let you choose. Whatever you think is more threatening. No attacks, because that's not worth a trade there. There's a good chance these are both going to end up exiled at some point anyway, but... No, there's just an Adeline on the other side. That totally changes things. Well, we'll block a 1/1 token, let me tell you. Mammoth's on that duty all day. This is a little intriguing, because I was thinking about doing this and leveling. If we do that, how much damage do we possibly take? We could end up taking 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, that'd be more than that. Because that'd be 3, 7. One token is 8. And then this is 5. So it'd be 13. Ugh. But if the opponent doesn't block here and we do that, they also take 9 or an 11. That seems like I'm trying too hard if I do that. Let's not. And say we didn't. Let's go with this. I like that better. And so we have some extra blocking options. We can block the 1/1. We can trade a cat token for a sentinel if we want to. Like just more things in our favor here that make this a little bit better. They're only attacking with Adeline. I mean, do we block with Chariot? What are they going to do to protect? I mean, I guess they could play, you know, whatever. Destroy a creature with power 4 or toughness 4 or bigger. I mean, I guess that's a thing. I guess if you got it, you got it. Whatever. Can't play, like, scared if you don't. I mean, whatever. I guess that's what they've got. Yep. Alright. I mean, it's one of those ones you just have to say, if you got it, you got it. Right? Can't be afraid of it. Oh, now that adds another layer to things here. We like that. We attack with these. Because why not? Ooh, another troll. Nice. This is not bad. I mean, if they double block, I'm fine with that too. I will trade those 2 for their 2 and leave them with an empty board. Love it. They just want to block there? Okay. I mean, I'm still going to put Adeline in front. I mean, if you got something, you got something. Like, I am okay with that. I'm like, what you got for us? Oh, another Adeline. That's why. Well, we found a good old card right here. Let's go with this so we can attack with multiple things. And then, yeah, everybody's going to come to the party. All right. I mean, I guess. I don't know what they're going to do, so sure. That worked out pretty well. Started out a little rough. Recovered very nicely. Yep. Now we're just playing cards for the sake of playing cards. So I'm going to do the same then. Alright. And get in there with everything. Alright. And you know what's funny? For mono green aggro, mono white is a lot easier than like white X decks, right? If it's white green, white red, those in my experience tend to be more problematic for mono green. But for some reason, the mono white decks, unless they get the draw that's literally like 4 exile creatures or whatever, then you know you just got to deal with it if they get it. But that tends to be my experience. Dun, 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 dun. Used to do way back in the day, white really was. That's where the term white weenie comes from. It used to be the color that had all the little small creatures. And we're kind of slowly come full circle, you know, 20 years later, that those are the decks that are good for them again. Yeah, the Blizzard top deck was nice. Though, honestly, I was going to attack anyway. I was just going to play the Ranger class and then level it up and attack with stuff. I think that would have still been fine in that situation. They were in a pretty rough spot. Even if they would have got a land and been able to pump their creatures, they would have still been pretty low at that point. Boros has always terrified you. Yeah, Boros. The deck we played yesterday was a lot of fun. It's a bit of a gamble, but man, you can do some damage. Like you saw in that video, there were games on like turn 4, even with our opponent playing cards. I think against like the werewolf deck, we still killed them and they were like -4 or something. You know, it was a wild thing. Like so many options really that you can get away with a lot of decks. It's pretty sweet though. When you see it all come together, right? When you see it in action. But all the color combinations I think are playable right now, at least on ladder. I'm not going to say necessarily for tournament play, but you know I've said it and I'll say it again. I think ladder play is totally different than tournament play, and I think there's a lot more choices you have available to you on the ladder. But people look at tournament results and say like, "Oh, if I'm not playing one of these like 6 or 7 decks, I can't really like be competitive." And it's like that's not true. Like people watch me, CGB, you know, Legend VD, MTG Jeff, Absurd Heroine, you know, whatever, right? There's a bunch of like we're out here making a lot of decks and playing them on the ladder. Right? So you can't say, "Oh, you can't get wins on the ladder." That's not true. I think the reality is and this is the part when I did my video. If you hadn't matter of fact, I'm going to link the video now in case some of y'all didn't watch it because I do generally feel like it's one of the videos I've done recently that has some of the most relevant content. And I'm surprised people actually watched it. I think because I labeled it the way I did, people actually watched it. And I'm surprised I didn't get a bunch of backlash for it. But here's the link. And it's why you don't win more at Magic. Or the games that you play. And the biggest thing to me that, honest truth, well, there's really two. One is people just have to admit you're not as good as you think you are. Myself included. Well, I guess I know how good I am, but I don't put myself that highly. So, like, I guess. But you know what I'm saying. The average player isn't all that good. You're just not. Or you would be a pro player, right? So thinking you're going to play the same way the pro players play and all that mess, just, it's not logical. And on top of that, like, understanding that when you watch somebody play a deck on video, sometimes I've already played 2 hours with that deck to learn some of the extra ins and outs and whatever, and then I started recording my video, right? Or I've messed with it off and on for the course of a month, and then finally got to a workable version, so I already have understood all the plays. And the other part is that I tell people, don't just look at wins and losses. Everybody's so quick to look at something and go like, oh, well, the deck just went like 4-4 or whatever, right? But the reality is when you see a video, content from any of us, not just me, look for context, right? What cards was the deck struggling with? You know, what cards underperformed? What matchups did the person play, right? Because they might have played against 3 or 4 quirky decks you won't ever even hardly see on the ladder. So if those were their losses, but they beat the main decks, then great. Or if they beat all the main decks, but only lost to like Is It Epiphany or something. It's like, well, great. You win all the other matchups, you lose Is It Epiphany, right? But they might have played Epiphany 3 times in that video, right? So there's things like that to understand. The same way that if I go, I don't know, 6-1 with the deck. Well, if only 2 of them were real meta decks, that doesn't really tell you anything. It just shows you how the deck works, right? But you have to understand that context. And the worst problem is, a lot of people just don't watch the videos. They look and go like, oh, this looks fun. I'm just going to copy this deck list. And that's it. Don't watch video. Or there's some people that will only watch the first game and then make up their mind and decide if they want to build the deck or not. And it's terrible because I told people last night on stream, like I actually set my videos where I will show a win first and I will show a win last. Now in the middle, it's all normal, whatever's. But I know people won't watch past that first game if you show them an opening loss. We've seen the numbers. It shows in the statistics. Like, I can look at the analytics and it shows it. So, that just tells you how people are viewing content, which is terrible. And then I have a lot of people who will post something in the chat. This happened with the, what was it? Oh, the Sultai self-mill deck, right? People are like, oh, you should do this, or why did you try this, or whatever. And, like, I mentioned some cards at the end of the video that I had already tried and explained why you shouldn't play these or whatever, or they didn't fit, or other ones to suggest or whatever. And people were still commenting on those. And it's like, you obviously didn't watch the video. I could have saved you time, right? Like, the fact is, we're putting in time and building decks and doing all this other stuff and we're a resource, right? If you want to play mono white, or let's say you want to play Boros Magecraft, right? I know I had a list. Turns out, I think one of the other streamers also, oh, Jim Davis, he also had one, right? So you can watch his video, and I think somebody else did one. So there's at least 3 people you can go watch. So if you go put in an hour and a half ish, maybe 2 hours worth of time, you could be well versed on all the plays, a bunch of different options, see a bunch of different matchups, and by the time you go play it, you're already going to be multiple steps ahead of where we were when we were trying to show it off, right? Each of us. But if you just copy the deck list and then go play without watching those videos, well, now you're just doing the same thing we already did, and you're going to make the same mistakes, learn from this. Like, we give you options, so just learn from us. Like, we're doing the work. All right. I tried out your Orzhov Clerics deck, and it was super fun and won quite a bit. The Clerics deck's actually pretty sweet. I'm a big fan of the Abzan life gain deck myself. I think that's the most versatile. But yeah, I do think the Orzhov Cleric's pretty good too. Random factor of shuffling is a factor. That's also true. I knew what you meant though. Dude, that self-mill deck was so beyond me. Oh, got mind blown so much. I will tell you, like, the self-mill deck was mostly difficult because it took a lot of planning. It didn't play like a lot of other decks we've played recently, or even in the standard format, because you had to spend a lot of time going, okay, I need to put a card in the graveyard, so when I use this creature, I can remove a creature from the yard, but I also want to be able to give a creature +1/+1, so maybe I need to mill during my opponent's end step so I can put something there first, and then that might actually flip my creature, but I might want to leave enough cards so I have something to get rid of with Egon. Like, it's like 3 or 4 things, like moving stuff in the graveyard, taking stuff out, maybe drawing a card. And you had to be processing or planning for that turn after turn after turn. And even on the video, I told y'all, like, I messed this up, or I could have done this better, or whatever, right? There was a lot of that happened in at least 3 of those games on the video. And fortunately, 2 of them I still won. But it was just so many things. And that's the other thing, too. Like, a lot of times I just put my mistakes in the video because I at least want people to be able to learn from those, right? And that's why I talk through my plays. Like, even though I make a play and I'm like, this probably would have been better if I did this other thing. And then, whatever result is what it is. If I win, great. If I lose, great. But you at least have that point of context of maybe I won because I did this other thing, or maybe I lost because I did this other thing. And I've at least told you what the other option was, and now you can kind of keep that in the back of your mind while you're watching the rest of the game, right? But if people don't do that, then, if you don't watch the videos, you don't know that. How long do you stream for? It just depends. I'm going to wrap this stream up here in a little bit because I need to record something else privately for you, Facebook, and then I need to edit a video, so that'll just be different. But I stream usually for 2.5 to 3 hours if you get me on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays in the evening. So tomorrow night I'll be on Twitch 9 p.m. to midnight, so you can check that out. During the day I'll be streaming off and on YouTube and on Twitch and on Facebook. It's going to be kind of sporadic, just based around other stuff. Like Wednesdays are busy for me because I have to record my podcasts and things. So this was just like the good time that it worked out. But yeah, you never know. It just kind of depends on how things are going. Like, we played a fun, mono green aggro deck and got some good games in today. So, I mean, we could have ended up with a longer stream. It just didn't go that way. What was the thing here? I think a big factor in improving your gameplay is being critical of yourself. Sometimes I record my losses and go back through. Yeah, that's actually a really big deal. I tell people that all the time. I think people should be more aware of themselves. I think a lot of times people, it's tough for gamers because we're always comparing ourselves to some numbers in the game, whether that's how fast we beat a game, how high we go into a ranking, how many games we win, rewards in the game, whatever. But one of the toughest things as a human is being able to self-analyze ourselves. And if you want to get better at games, you have to get better at that. You have to understand, and not just that, but you also have to understand what your realistic ceiling is. And let me use myself as an example here, right? I play Teamfight Tactics. I know that right now my high watermark in Teamfight Tactics is gold 4, I think. For me to get higher than gold 4, I have to be willing to put more time in to Teamfight Tactics, right? I have to get better versed in what items combine together, what combinations are out after there's an update, learning which things got nerfed and which ones didn't. But I don't, right? I spend on 4 evenings maybe a week. I play like an hour and a half to 2 hours worth, and that's about it. So I'm not putting in that much time. If I put as much time in Teamfight Tactics as I do Magic, I would be much better at TFT. But I can't be upset. They're going like, ah, man, I can't get out of gold 4 or whatever, because I know what my cap is. So at that point, it's like, am I still having fun doing it even when I'm losing? If the answer is yes, then I'll keep playing it. But you can't really stress out if you're not going to put the effort in to be better. And, kind of like what I talked about in that video I linked, is that a lot of people will just chase the next best deck, right? That's what everybody's after. Like, oh, I'm going to get this deck list, or this person said they won with this, so I want to play that, I want to play this. But they're not taking the time to learn the plays and how do certain cards work in the meta. Are there cards that were good for week 1 or 2 and you need to update for weeks 3 and 4 or whatever, right? Like, there's so many different things that go into those decisions that people just are ignoring, and they're assuming that they're good enough, that like their raw skill is going to overcome everything because they have a better weapon, right? But that's just not the way it goes a lot of the time. And when people come along and they don't understand, like, well, how are you able to win with this deck? I went 0 and whatever. And then you're sitting there kind of explaining plays to them. Or they're like, yeah, but I don't like that card. I'm changing this, or I'm putting this in, or blah, blah. Well, then you're not even playing the same deck. But without watching the videos or without doing the research, you've made a decision to make changes. And it's like, that's crazy. Even when I see deck lists, right? I'll at least play a couple of games or build with them or mess around with them before I go making a lot of changes. Because the creator might have had stuff in there for certain reasons. And I'm kind of curious. If I see it in a video, I at least try to watch half their video. To me, that's the goal. Like, I get that we all don't have infinite time. But if I put up a deck and you're interested in it, at least watch half the video. Get 3 or 4 games in to have a good understanding of how all the interactions are working, what we're up against. Try to see it played against 1 or 2 of the big decks in the format, and then make your decision based on that. Because even if you're going to go build the deck, you should at least know if you want to burn all your resources or whatever to craft wild cards, or, I don't know, spend gems or gold or whatever on packs or whatever you're going to do, or even in paper to go build it and spend store credit or whatever to build it, to know if it's okay. This looks fun, but is this really what I want to be building, right? Just the idea that the deck list looks fun, but you have no context, just seems very weird to me. Mono red is more about straight numbers. Depending on the version of mono red you play. Hold on, let me go back in here to the gameplay screen. But I actually have a mono red dragons list that I was goofing around with, a couple weeks ago, actually, on one of the streams. By the way, I have a question for y'all. Does seeing a microphone bother y'all on camera? Because I've adjusted this so it's higher and kind of out of the way, but I sort of kind of still want it close to me in front of my face. But I don't know if that's distracting to y'all or not. I know it's like a weird thing. It's a very small thing. Some people like having them on camera. Some people like having it off camera because it's like, I don't know, the illusion of perfection. Like, I don't know. But I sometimes like the clean look of it being off camera, but I do sometimes also feel like I could speak a certain way and get a better tone if it's right in front of me. So, like, I don't really know. Yeah, you can buy a faster car, but it doesn't matter if you can't drive it well. That's absolutely true, Cursed. That is absolutely true. You don't buy mics, just don't cover your facial reaction. Oh, that's fine. I make so many dumb, goofy faces as it is. But yeah, you're right. Like, and by the way, if you've ever been, I've had the luxury of getting into a NASCAR. In Texas Motor Speedway, they had a thing for a while where they would put you in these cars, and you sat with the driver, so it wasn't like you were driving all by yourself, but it was like a tandem car. And I will tell you, just having a faster car would do nothing for me. Like, that is so hard to drive. Like, that analogy works for me so much because it is so hard to be going. And we weren't even at like top speed because, they're usually going like 200 miles an hour or whatever. We weren't even up that fast yet, and trying to turn and everything with it was a mess. It was a mess. So yeah, I could totally see that. That people don't really have the skills just because you got the deck doesn't mean it's going to get it done. Patchwork crawlers. I think that's my fourth one of those. All right, no. So I was going to show you. Like, there are some different ways you can play them. Do I still have the mono red? Okay, so I have this, which we haven't played yet. Maybe this will be a stream later this week. But I have a mono red haste deck, which I was goofing around with. I have no idea if this is even viable. But this is this is like a peek inside the mind of a streamer, right, or a content creator. Sometimes we're just building a lot of lists just to know if something is even plausible, much less if it's even good, right? So this is like Javelin Lair, Hall Monitor, Play with Fire, Bloodthirst Adversary, Dragon's Fire, Broken Brow, Reckless Stormseeker, Ogre Battle Driver, because I figured why not. Mostly because you get the +2, not really because of the haste. Everything has haste. Goldspan Dragon, Volatile Arsonist, and Inferno of the Star Mounts. Literally everything with haste, like, which is so stupid. But this is a version you can play. Honestly, the lands, I would clean them up, probably make them snow lands, so we could also play Faceless Havens or whatever. So, like, that's a thing. But, conversely, then I have this other mono red list. Where did it go? This one here. It's mono red dragons. And this is a whole different thing, right? So this is a bunch of early burn. You're playing Berserker for a first striker, playing Channeler since you have a bunch of spells that deal damage, and then trying to get to your dragons. So you're playing 1 mana Form Hellkite, 4 Moonveil Regents, 4 Goldspan Dragon, 2 Inferno, right? So these are completely different mono red decks, where the first one is low to the ground, try to pick stuff off, keep getting in damage every turn. They sweep the board. You play 2 more hasters, keep getting damage in, like needling your opponent as fast as possible. Whereas this one's like, all right, I'm going to control the board. I'm going to deal a little damage to you. I'm going to do this thing. All right, let's start dropping 4/4s and 5/5s and see what we can do. Completely different style of decks, but even within the same color. So now, do I know if either one of them's viable? No. Like, we haven't played them yet. Like I said, it will probably be on a future stream. We'll try those out and see if they're any good. But to that end, I have 32 decks right now in my queue. All the ones with a hyphen in front of them are all the ones we've played, right? Or at least made videos of. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we already have 20 decks plus the deck we were playing today. So we're going to call that 21 that are completely viable this season, that you can play on the ladder. And that's every color not every, but just about every color combination in those 21, right? So you can do a lot of different stuff. And this isn't it. Like, I've already deleted like 7 or 8 decks. I put some together that just didn't work, or I had an idea and the cards just didn't exist right, or whatever. But these are all playable. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, you can find something to play on the ladder. Now, again, of these 21 decks I've already done, I might only play like 5 or 6 of them maybe in tournaments if I really nitpicked. But I'm not building for tournaments. I'm building for the ladder. And the ladder has different parameters you're going against, really, than in tournaments. Dragon decks are some of your favorite tribal? I'm sure a lot of people love those. Especially with the Bolas card for that good flavor. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. Have I built the Dollhouse deck? No, I haven't really. And it's like on my to-do list. But here's the problem. Like, if I can make it work, I'm sure people would enjoy that, right? And then we get some number of views because people just want to play with Dollhouse. The problem I have, though, is that I don't think the Dollhouse is better than just regular reanimation stuff. Right? Getting a creature at 1/1 size is not necessarily better than just getting a full-size creature and doing its thing that turn. Now, there's probably still some way to make it work, but you're also like, there's a lot of things you're fighting against too, because the Dollhouse costs 5, so that's the first thing. The thing you're getting is only a 1/1, so you need them to have, almost need to find things that have really big ETB triggers, so you could do something with it. You know what I mean? And I guess it's possible if, like, I don't know. I'm trying to. I mean, there's probably some weird thing I could do with, like, Dollhouse and what's that guy? The 6/6 that when a land enters the battlefield, you get a +1, so I could give stuff extra damage. And there's probably something in there I could do. But the problem is it's a lot of setup too. It's like, okay, how do I get stuff into my graveyard? And then if I don't get a dollhouse, what am I doing with my graveyard otherwise, right? Because that becomes the next question. Or if your dollhouse gets destroyed, because there are several decks still playing Abrades, believe it or not. That's still floating around. Not just that, Abrades and Prismari commands. That's the other problem. So even if you do get the dollhouse, there's a chance it's just going to get blown up anyway by a cheaper cost card. So you're going to spend 5 mana, and then since you haven't had any other relevant targets that are artifacts, they're probably just going to blow it up. And then it's like, okay, what's your other game plan if that doesn't work? So what I'm thinking, sadly, is that the decks probably end up becoming something like some Reanimator deck with all the typical pieces, just playing like 2 of Dollhouse or something. And that's not exciting, but I mean, you know, it kind of is what it is, sort of a thing. It's probably the best thing you can do, because I think relying on Dollhouses to be your main reanimation is probably not great because they're so fragile. Mostly because a Braid is just versatile and good against like mono red aggro, also good against mono green, being able to get rid of chariots and stuff, so people are playing it. And then because of just Prismari Command's just a damn good magic card, people are still splashing that, or not even splashing it. Some are playing a full set of 4 in the Is It Epiphany decks. I probably run into 2 or 3 of those per session. So those are the hiccups really right now for me with Dollhouse. I think it's still doable. I could probably make one, and I will at some point, probably in the next couple of weeks. But my expectations from a deck building standpoint are pretty medium, if I'm being honest. Like, it's not super exciting. Mostly because I feel like it's going to be a deck I build, and even if I don't get Dollhouse, it's going to look like a regular Reanimator deck. You know, and then when you get it, it'll be like, okay, it did a neat thing because of Dollhouse. But I also have the other option of like, can we do something with that? And then like Lithoform engine and whatever. And like, probably not. That's just too much. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I will say though, it's probably cool against like the control decks, the like black-white control, because you can use stuff out of your graveyard again, and like that's kind of fun. But no, I think Dollhouse is worse than Historic. Historic is way faster. Like if you play a 5 mana thing, it's gonna have an immediate impact. If you're playing something 5 or bigger, you got to be doing more than what you're getting out of the Dollhouse, unless you have an amazing ETB creature you're getting back. It's got to be even more powerful than that. I don't think that's where you want to be, sadly. Gonna do a mono brown artifacts with Dollhouse. Mono artifacts with Dollhouse. I mean, it depends on what artifact creatures there are. Because my question would end up being like, what are we killing with? Because obviously for Dollhouse, you got to have creatures. I don't know. I mean, one of the best ones I'm thinking of wants to be kicked, and you can't kick coming out of the graveyard. So that's already part of the problem. I mean, this is a 6/6, but can't attack or block unless somebody has 8 cards. Your opponent has 8 cards in their graveyard, so that doesn't really help. You could play Strixhaven Stadium, which is cool. You could play Celestis. This is what I was thinking of. Myriad Construct is probably like the best thing, but the best thing it does is being kicked. You know, so it's like if it becomes target of a spell, you sacrifice it, you get a number of 1/1s. Tokens were equal to its power. Sadly, when you Dollhouse, it's smaller than 4/4. That doesn't really help it. So that kind of sucks. Lithoform engine, possible. Forsaken Monument, possible. I mean, if you have this and this, it helps, I guess. You know, so you'd be at least making 3/3s. But yeah, there's just not any good threats. Like this costs 7, and it's not even that awesome. Yeah, everything else is very subpar. I mean, that's a 4 mana 5/3 that attacks or blocks if your opponent attacks. I mean, this thing's a 2/3 for 3. That's pretty bad. Yeah, I don't think it's possible. Now, I would say this. I think if there's a way that you could maybe do green with artifacts or black with artifacts, maybe you're reanimating some demons or something, like I could be talked into that on some level, that that's a thing, but I have no clue what that would look like right off the top of my head. So right now I would say no, and even if we could, I don't know how competitive it would be. Honestly, I think you'd be struggling pretty hard. I'm not going to say never, because it is, I mean, there's been times where, sleep on it for a couple of weeks, and then eventually you have that epiphany moment where you're just like, this is going to be the thing. But even then, it's like, can we get it to even be a 50-50 deck on the ladder, would be my first question. And I don't know if the answer is yes or not. But I will say this. There is probably a package of stuff that starts with, like, Shambling Gas, Deadly Disputes, 6 to 8 bigger black creatures, whether those are demons or whatever, some doll houses, all the typical artifact pieces, and like maybe you could probably get something going and turn that into a thing. You could still play the lands that turn into creatures. So you have Crawling Baron still, you've got access to Faceless Haven. So I mean there might be something there. My question then becomes, like, is it better though than playing just mono black control, where you're just playing like Lolth and Sorens and Blood on the Snows or whatever? Like, I don't know. Wish It Were an Enchantment, much harder to remove that way. Can also just get divided away. That's true. That's true. I could just do that. Burning Rune Demon, yeah, maybe. I mean, who knows? Like I said, it's one of those ones I'd have to put a lot more thought into to decide what direction you want to go with it. But yeah, maybe it's a thing. Maybe it's possible. I don't really know. It's good. I mean, it's a good call out to at least, put on the radar of, like, maybe it's a thing we can do. But that's going to do it for me, y'all. Like I said, I'm just kind of hopping in here, playing a little bit of stuff, playing Mono Green because I hadn't played that at all this season. Figured I'd get a few games in. And kind of reintroduce everybody to PowrDragn streaming on YouTube, because we haven't really done a lot of that in a long time, and it's going to become more of a regular thing. I don't know how regular just yet. I'm going to test out my schedule over the next couple of weeks and see. But going to become a little more of a thing. But it was cool. We had about 25, 30 people in here average for a big part of the stream, and that's pretty solid considering we hadn't been on YouTube and nobody's expecting us to be here. So I'll try to schedule the videos at least a couple hours in advance before I go live if I don't get into a normal daily routine, and let everybody know. This was actually pretty fun. It's a little different streaming on YouTube because there's still a little bit of a delay from the time, like, I see a thing and you see a thing, but it's only about 25-ish seconds or so, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, pretty cool. What's my Twitch? Also PowrDragn. So you can go to twitch.tv, I'll put it in the chat here, /PowrDragn, if you want to check that out. Also over on Facebook, it's facebook.com/PowrDragn. I think anybody who's in content creation that doesn't try to get the same label on all of their stuff is doing it wrong. My thought is, if I use a handle or a screen name or username, creator name, any platform I'm on, I try to secure it so it makes sense. If you're looking for me, it's easy to find. But yeah, it was good to see all of you. Thank you so much, Ducks. I will keep trying to put out the content as best I can. By the way, thank you, everybody. We have crossed over 15,000 subscribers as of last night. And that was a big hump I was working to get past for the last, I don't know, couple of weeks. It felt like we just couldn't get those last few. So that was very cool. We're actually at 15,011. So thank you for that. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I am giving you more content than anybody else in the Magic community. Literally. In less than 2 years, by the time we get to the end of this month, I will be very close to giving you over 1,000, or actually very close to 1,000 videos and or streams on just YouTube alone, not counting all the other content I've been putting out. So that's a lot in 2 years. Like, I can't give you more than that. I'm averaging, what is that? That'd be like almost 1.5 videos a day at that point. Pretty close. Not quite, but close. So that's a lot. That's a lot. I can't do more than that. Like, you're getting all I can give you. Tell me about it. Struggling to get past 1K. Yeah, it's a big deal. Long hair. It is a big deal. You have to really grind and push and find time for it and learn all the little intricacies about setting up your content and what people like or don't like, and look at all the analytics. And you got to set time to treat it as business, and that's hard for a lot of people to figure that part out. But anyway, like I said, I got to get out of here. I have some editing and some recording I still got to do. But I love y'all, man. I really do. Super appreciate it. Wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Please take care of yourself and your family with all the COVID and the flu and whatever out there. Just however you got to take care of yourself and your family, please do so. Just stay away from other people if you can. And most importantly, remember to be awesome.